All right, Huddle Up Podcast number 28. Got Hayden with me as always. We got some NFL today. There's nothing too big to go over, so we're gonna throw in alongside NFL, maybe a little NBA, but probably two, solo shots with some reactions. Hayden's gonna go with MLB, and I'm gonna go with some college football with the postseason coming around next weekend. We're going to preview the bracket a little bit, and then talk MLB, free agency and trades and whatnot as well. So should be a good one. Let's start with, we'll just get right into it. Start with last week's NFL. I guess we'll start with, have to, right? We got to start with Texans Chiefs.
Easily.
No bias here. Probably the
Best game.
masterclass of the week. I remember everything from this game, as you'd figure, but we'll just kind of go into some of the stats a little bit. Texans take the Chiefs 20-10. Mahomes' worst completion percent, I believe, of his career. 14 for 33, threw 3 picks, 160 yards, no touchdowns. No one really did their thing offensively. Chris Jones did show up to play, especially in that second half. Stroud was okay, 15 for 31. It was really just it was a postseason game. It was a defensive just fight, coaching fight, chess match. But it was a very, again, we're, not reacting late necessarily, but it's Thursday and the game was Sunday. I remember that third quarter, we were texting back and forth. I was freaking out because it felt like the Texans were going to lose it again because they were. The Texans had a 10-0 lead at half, and in the box score you can see, the Chiefs scored 10 points in the third to tie it into the fourth, and you're like, man, Mahomes is going to, find a way, do it again, and then they get 5 yards on a 3rd and 7. It's 4th and 2 for Mahomes, and they go for it at their own 30-yard line. Derek Stingley breaks it up, and then Texans score HHuddle, and it's over. Just a crazy game, and we'll maybe dive into Chargers-Eagles a little bit, but with Chargers winning that game, the Chiefs are pretty much officially cooked. We've projected it for a while. That's the direction it's gone, but it's pretty official. Unless Jacksonville collapses, we know Indy's going to collapse, but they have the tiebreaker over Indy anyway, so that one isn't as... They need Jacksonville to really probably tank, realistically. So it's crazy, man. We're going to have a postseason... There's a chance we don't have Lamar. I think we will, but there's a chance. And we won't have Mahomes. And then Josh Allen won't have home field, most likely. So it's a crazy outlook in terms of the AFC. Do you have anything else to add in terms of the Texans-Chiefs game?
No, obviously the Texans defense did their thing. I still don't understand why the Chiefs went for it.
Just a wild call. That makes no sense.
I think the one overarching take I have is that obviously in football things are very cyclical, and so the last few years it's been very pass heavy, the NFL, and before then it was you got to have a Todd Gurley or a Le'Veon Bell, one of these elite backs to kind of divvy up your offense between obviously running the ball and then having a guy to come out of the backfield. And now it seems we're back to with the way teams play 2 high safeties or whatever, and the way defenses look now, you need a good running game. And I think it's going to be the same thing with going for it on fourth. Dan Campbell kind of established this whole our drop our balls, we're going to go for it thing. And then I think soon enough, maybe not to the extent of how cyclical between the run and pass game the offenses are so extreme, but I think teams are going to start to look at going for it on 4th down as hey, especially in that situation, that was just stupid.
It's all, and I'll let you finish your point, but it's all scenario based, and I mean, there's a reason. Like, there's freaking out as a fan and being hyperbolic, and there's the Texans had negative yards in the third quarter, and there was nothing they could do,
Yeah.
and there was no chance they were scoring from within their territory and making a drive. That's complete. If the Texans were, Stroud had 350 yards, going into the fourth quarter and 3 touchdowns, and you're like, man, we can't give them the ball back. It's completely different.
Yeah.
And the defense, like you said, was, I mean, killing
They were
them.
the Chiefs defense. I mean, both
Both
defenses were insane. So it's like it genuinely just baffles me, especially when your season's on the line, and you're gonna like that was what at early fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you still have a whole quarter to play and the game's tied. So worst case scenario, if it's a stalemate, you go into overtime. Like your season's on the line, that's effectively a playoff game, and you go for it. I mean, granted, what was it, 4th and 5, 4th and
No, so
short?
here's what's interesting, and this I was going to bring this up as
It
well.
was 4th and 1.
Was third and 8, and Mahomes scrambled. Alshire missed him like on a big hit, which would have made it like 4th and 4 ish, and he missed him with the tackle, and it got to 4th and 2 or 4th and 1 after Mahomes got out,
Yeah, I mean
and they
maybe
still like I'll let me see if I can find it real quick.
if it was like 4th and inches, maybe you go for it because they ran
Fourth
that
and
tush
one.
push.
4th and 1.
Yeah, I I don't even it doesn't change. I don't think that changes my opinion on it. Like they ran that QB sneak on Thanksgiving with number 12. I think his name's like something Wiley. He's like a tight end or whatever.
Yeah.
Like maybe you go for it there, but even then your defense is playing like you were saying negative yards. They held the Texans to in the third quarter, so it's like and you had the momentum because you
Easily.
scored 10 points in the third quarter. You're at home, like you're trying to build something. Like it's stupid, but yeah, enough of the Chiefs. I mean, the Texans played well. Obviously, the defense, number one defense in the league. It still kind of scares me that the offense isn't clicking. Even like, I know we talked about like the whole like should Mills start whatever. Like, I don't think they win that game with Mills, but like,
Totally agree. At Stroud, I think Stroud was a little over criticized for that Chiefs game. Like he made a couple bad throws, like in terms of incompletion bad throws, like missing guys, but he made a couple really ridiculous plays.
yeah, they just have to figure out a way to be more consistent and to not even you don't even need to necessarily score more on offense. Like obviously 20 points with that defense can probably get you some wins in the playoffs, but like just to sustain drives, like it was like 3 3 and outs to start the third quarter or 4 3 and outs. Like if
Yeah.
you can just pick up a first down, at least get down the field a little bit further and pin, play the field position game, pin the Chiefs within their 20, get a stop on them before they come out to their 30, and then get a punt return or whatever. Like it can flip the game a little bit to give your offense like a boost. But I mean, the offensive line, obviously a work in progress, but like,
It's crazy because they've actually played so well the last like month.
yeah,
Like I didn't necessarily think the offense was going to cook in Kansas City. I just did not think the offensive line would look like that because they have really truly played well. Like, but they looked. It was
yeah.
awful. It was awful.
I'm curious if their offense made the Chiefs defense look good, or if the Chiefs defense minimized what the Texans were. I mean, not like the Texans are like a crazy offense, but like if the Chiefs defense was actually performing like well, I don't know. I mean, they didn't have McDuffie for half like majority of the game, so like there's that. I just it just doesn't seem like guys really get open in their offense, and I'm sure that's more scheme than anything. But like, I know I was texting you like they're just having Stroud sit behind the O line as like a sitting duck, and he's just like he was like airmailing flats. Like he wasn't. It just didn't look like an NFL offense.
Yeah,
at
my
times.
personal opinion is like Nico. It's Nico Collins gets open or nobody gets open. Essentially,
Yeah,
like a little bit of an exaggeration, but Higgins can't consistently get separation. Noel can't consistently get separation. Kirk can, but he's been in and out of the lineup. He's had his moments, but it hasn't been like perfect. And Schultz can't consistently like you even. I mean, you watch. It doesn't have to be like a crazy offense, but you'll have like offenses where the quarterback is like maybe missing reads and whatnot, but like guys get separation and there's a window. I feel like half
yeah,
the time watching these Texans games and the offense, there's just no window.
yeah,
Like you're like, what is going on? And then
yeah,
half the windows, like the one play in the first quarter, Stroud's running for his life, and then there's a window to Nico, 5 seconds after the read, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, we'll take it, but no, I don't know if it's a scheme or the personnel, or probably realistically, it's a little bit of both.
yeah.
But you know, you never know. Never know. The switch can flip. See what happens. But they got to find somehow a way to get a downfield passing game for if because the defense. I haven't felt this good about a Texans team in a while, even with the playoff runs the last couple years, because this defense is like. People talk about it. If you have a defense this good, that is clearly this good, you're going to be in every single game. It's a matter of like if you can win or not because of the offense. But you're in every game, no question. And they've
Yeah.
proven that this year. Even the game we were at, the Rams, Texans, right? Texans did everything offensively to like not be in that game. And they hung around. Same thing with Seattle. Like did everything to not hang in that game, hung with Seattle. Obviously beat Buffalo. Obviously beat Kansas City. Um,
Beat the
they've
Colts.
beat the Colts. Like, I mean, with a defense like that, you're in every game, essentially. So, yeah, man, we'll see what they can do. But it was fun to get look back on KC. Obviously, the 24-0 game years ago, and then just last year, that one was also brutal. So. Good to get a little revenge spot. We'll take it. Um, let's go to. Let's see. I mean, well, we can just run through a couple of these games. I don't know which games you watched in terms of like the other games in the slate, but Bills Bengals was so fun, such a fun game to watch. Just Burrow let it go at the end so badly. Two terrible turnovers. One where I think it was Milano was the one he didn't see him, I think, and he just threw it right to him.
On the pick six or on
Or it was
the.
Benford. It was Benford. Sorry, um, that's right. Yeah, it was Benford. Just completely didn't see him pick six. That completely turned the game. But I mean, other than that, the Bengals have looked solid. I mean, Burrow's looked kind of back to form. But it's just too late. I mean, they're probably going to miss. I mean, they're 4-9. Like people are like, oh, maybe they'll make the wild card. Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah. How do you feel about Buffalo? I mean, are they going to make a run at the AFC? It's the AFC is just so wide open.
I mean, I could see them beating a team like the Patriots in the playoffs just because the Patriots maybe haven't necessarily been there in a while, and like this is like a new, I don't know, like a new group of guys. Like they already lost to New England once on their home field this year. Like I could see Buffalo going in as the underdog, teams overrating the Patriots a little bit, or like even I mean, I don't think Buffalo beats the Broncos this year. Maybe make it close, but like, I think maybe they'll like be like the Chiefs this year, where they kind of just have like a run up until the championship game, and then a team like Denver kind of takes them out. That's probably I don't think that's my pick for the AFC Championship game.
It's hard, man. I mean, the crazy thing is, if it's going to look real bad in Buffalo, if whether it's fair or not, because I'm with you. I don't think Buffalo's roster is good enough. I think both New England and Denver. I think Houston. Obviously, Houston's beat Buffalo, but offensively, there's still questions. We have to be real there. But if without Mahomes and potentially a kind of out Ravens team, if the Bills don't make the Super Bowl, that's going to be a massive failure. Massive failure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the failure came when they didn't make any moves, like any serious moves to address the offense. I mean, like the wide receiver one was supposed to be Keon Coleman. That he's not the guy, like Steve Smith said.
Yeah.
Khalil Shakir can only carry so much weight, and like even then, like they paid Curtis Samuel money, they drafted Kincaid, they have Dawson Knox. Like it's literally just Josh Allen, James Cook, and a dream. And like the defense, I don't think is any more impressive than the offense, at least structurally. Like I think it's more like of a prayer defense. Like okay, like Josh Allen put up 35. Let's hopefully just allow 33 or 30. Like it just seems what it's gearing up towards.
And Josh Allen, he can do it. It's just again, it's all matchup, right? Like,
Yeah,
I see him doing that against. Again, we've seen the Texan thing, so I won't, just beat that drum too much. But against Denver, let's say, like, I don't see him carrying the team against Denver.
no, I mean Denver and Houston, I think, are the two teams that it's like if he sees in the playoffs, he's probably not beating. Maybe he has a chance against Houston just because of Houston's offense and Buffalo being able to contain them, and they're probably going to play a little bit harder in the playoffs, right? They have playoff experience, not like Houston doesn't, but I mean Denver probably is going to wax them. But like, I mean, if you take Buffalo against the winner of the AFC North, right? So is that the Steelers or the Ravens? Probably take the Bills. If you take
Yeah, I agree.
the AFC South, like they're definitely beating the Jaguars. I'd take the Bills over the Chargers. I'd take the Bills over. Who would be the other AFC wildcard team right now? It's like Chargers. It's Chargers, Texans, Colts. Yeah, but I mean the Colts are not going to make it.
Colts
So
are
like who?
good. Yeah, I don't think they're going to end up making it.
So then who would that be? Like the
Am I
Ravens?
missing one? North, South, East. No, I
Oh, I
think
mean
we
the Patriots.
Patriots we haven't mentioned, but they're going to be the 1 seed, so they won't be wild
Do you think the
card.
Patriots will be the one over the
I think that's
Broncos?
how it's projected to look as of now, but I could be wrong on that.
I mean, look,
I don't have a take there. It's Denver or New England.
Broncos are the one seed right now as it stands.
I think I'm more projecting. Let's see. Let me just look at the odds here real quick.
So I mean,
Okay,
right now
they're
it's
even. So Patriots and Broncos are even in terms of like projecting to the 1
ooh,
seed.
but the Broncos have Green Bay, so if they slip up and the Patriots take care of business against Buffalo this week,
Yep.
but Broncos, Patriots, Jags, Steelers, Chargers, Bills, Texans, and then yeah, I mean like the Colts not happening, Ravens probably not happening, Chiefs probably not happening, and then like Dolphins. Yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
The Dolphin
that
thing is. Yeah.
that shit is hilarious because at one point, what they were 2-7, the Dolphins, and could have had a
I.
top 5 pick for a quarterback, and then you win all these games, and now you're going to be picking in the teens. So that's
Yeah.
objectively that's hilarious. Yeah, that's
4-1 in the last 5.
yeah, that's terrible.
Um. Yeah. The one team, the Jaguars are. I don't get the Jaguars, honestly. I know that defense is better than people think, 100%. But, jeez, whoever they will not win a playoff game. I just don't see any shot. But prove me wrong, I guess. Let's see. So we talked Bills, Bengals.
And we could talk the NFC playoff picture if you want.
Yeah. So let's go. Let's talk about. We'll go Packers, Bears, and then we'll talk about the playoff picture. So I watched this game, and this was besides my Texans. I was most excited for Bears Packers for sure. It's always great to have Bears Packers be relevant, and for it to be a close game, dogfight. I mean this game delivered in so many ways. I thought the coaching was great. I thought there weren't many. It felt like both Texans Chiefs to me and Bears Packers felt like playoff football, and like the intensity ramped up in both of those games. I mean, the Bears were dead in the water in the first half, and then they found a way in the second half. They outscored the Packers 18-14 in the second half, doing enough to make it competitive. And they had the opportunity at the end of the game. Caleb threw the pick on 4th and 2-ish, right at like the 15-yard line. But they had a shot, and that's all you can ask for. I mean, I had thought one of my favorite picks of the week was the Packers to win by a touchdown and cover, and they did, but not in the fashion that I thought. I thought they were going to kind of handle the Bears, and the Bears showed up. I mean, Ben Johnson has built a pretty legit operation there, it seems like. I don't think they're contenders necessarily in the NFC this year, but they're not a joke for sure. That is going to be a team that in the playoffs they're running the ball 30, 35 times in a snow game, and you better play good enough defense, because they're going to their defense isn't great, but they take the ball away really well. Run game is always key in the playoffs, and you have a quarterback who is definitely streaky, is definitely still improving as a passer, especially in the pocket, but he can make any throw at any time. Essentially, there's no one really in the NFL like that right now, where you could see the complete worst or the complete best. It's almost Josh Allen, it's complete roller coaster with Caleb. So, it was a great game. In terms of the Packers angle, I mean, wasn't too surprised by anything. I mean, it was a good Jordan Love game, which is good to see, I guess. Shout out Christian Watson for balling, but yeah, I mean, it's knocked the Bears from the 1 seed to the 7, I think, which is wild. That's how tight the NFC is right now. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm honestly more scared of. I think that they're equally matched, the Packers and the Bears always play the Packers well since they've drafted Caleb. I don't think Caleb's beat the Packers. Maybe he.
Oh, he did.
He stole
right?
one last year. I
think they stole one last year on a block kick or something.
You know what? Maybe you're right. So they've done it before. I thought that if they got the touchdown there, which DJ Moore was wide open, they could have went for 2, and that would have been the game. I'm not entirely scared of the Packers. Obviously, if you have to go into Lambeau, that's probably a different beast. But teams have done it. I'm honestly more scared as a Rams fan of going into Chicago, because I think they have a better defense. And the run game is probably stronger just because they have 2 guys that have been able to consistently run the ball this year, as opposed to the Packers. I don't think Jacobs has had a great season this year.
No, he hasn't.
And I mean, I don't know if this is a crazy take, but when the Seahawks drafted JSN, I straight up said he was already the best receiver on their team over DK Metcalf, and I think DK was coming off of his the 1,300-yard season that he had. The best receiver on the Bears roster right now wears number 10, and it's Luther Burden. I'm so far like DJ Moore is not good, or at least in that system, he's not the guy. And I don't think Rome Odunze can separate and win consistently against
Interesting.
corners enough. I genuinely think it's Luther Burden. I think the way that Ben Johnson at least schemes it up, I think he's their most dangerous weapon and most underrated weapon on offense. And if Caleb can just use his brain, I mean, he played outside of the last play of the game, or like the pick, he had a good game. Like he had that throw to Zacchaeus in the corner of the end zone, where it's just like,
bro.
like nobody else. I genuinely don't even know if Mahomes is making that play anymore.
Oh,
Like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like he could miss, he could throw that pick at the end of the game, miss a random, a post route with 5 yards of separation, but he can make that throw to Zacchaeus. It's wild. That's why they're dangerous.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
I like the feet down on the Luther Burden take. I like that because you
yeah.
were right on JSN. I remember that take from a while ago.
I mean, I wanted Luther. I thought he could have been cool with what the Rams had going on. I don't know if I have necessarily any crazy takes. I will say that the Rams, had the Rams just not lost to the Panthers, they'd have the 1 seed completely locked up. But I mean, like, the Rams play Detroit this week. That's going to be a tough game. The Packers play Denver. That's a tough game.
Yep.
I mean, the Eagles play the Raiders, right? Should take care of business. Bucks play the Falcons in an hour. Bucks should take care of business, but again, Falcons always play, the Bucks really well.
Yep.
Seattle plays Indy. That's a cakewalk. Niners play Tennessee. That's a cakewalk. Bears play the Browns, which they
Yep.
should win. I don't know about cakewalk, but like they should string up enough drives. And then like you feed into the teams on the bubble, just looking at what the NFL has, right? Lions play the Rams. Obviously, it's going to be a tough one for them. The Panthers play the Saints, which could be tough, but like Panthers should take care of business. Cowboys play Minnesota, and then the inverse, Minnesota plays the Cowboys, right? So
Yeah.
I
It's a
think that,
crazy playoff picture on the NFC side.
yeah, and I think that the 7 teams that are in it right now are going to be the 7 teams that make it. I don't think that this
Really?
is.
You don't think Lions get in?
No, I think if the Rams beat Detroit this week, it's over. It says the probability if the Lions lose this week it goes down to 45, but if they win, it jumps to 75. So
I think my only
it has them as
counter.
better odds than the Bears. Even if both teams win this weekend, the Lions have 7% better odds to make the playoffs than the Bears, which low key is weird to me. Maybe the Bears have some. Oh, the
They
Bears have Niners, Packers, Lions.
It's a gauntlet, dude.
But those are realistically all games that they could and should win. Like they should beat the Niners, they should beat the Lions, and they could beat the Packers.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing with this is like if you're looking at the Lions schedule, obviously like one of my favorite, no jinx because I had Packers last week, but one of my favorite picks of the week is Rams to kind of soundly beat the Lions, cover the 6. I don't think the Lions defensively with Branch now out, and it's just we're not at the point of their defense last year as bad as it was, but we're slowly getting there. I know the
forgot about
Lions
that.
can score on anybody. Like they could for sure hang 30 on the Rams. I just think the Rams are going to score more than whatever it is. I think they'll find a way.
yeah.
But assuming they lose that,
Especially with that secondary. I mean, Joseph's not even back, right? So they have
that's
both
what
their
I'm
safeties
saying.
out.
Yeah, I don't know how they like. I'm not even underestimating the Lions. I just what do you do? Like this Rams passing game is looking pretty good right now. And with not the I mean they have Hutchinson obviously, but not like the best pass rush on earth. And you know receivers like LA has, I don't think they're going to be able to hang around. But they lose that game, go to 8-6. Their next three, a pretty good chance to go 9-6 with that last game being in Chicago. That's probably for a playoff spot realistically, because they have the Bears tiebreaker. So if they have the same record, it's definitely possible. So
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer to see the Lions in the playoffs because I think they're an easier out at
I
this
agree.
at this
Yeah.
very moment. But
They just got to
I
get healthy. I mean, the Lions' offense is insane, but it's the defense.
mean, I
It's
think Laporte is out for a while, right?
yeah, he might be a year, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking ahead to this week, I guess blending it in, but as long as the Rams keep Jameer Gibbs, I mean, they keep running this like running back screen pass that's like kind of scary because of how good Jameer Gibbs is, like it's pretty frightening. If they keep that in check, and then you can keep Jamison Williams from going 50 yards down the field, you should win the game. Knock on wood, but like I saw the Rams defense give up 31 to Carolina, so who the fuck knows?
True. Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about Amon Ra. I know he's going to have a decent game. It's just the big plays, I think, is what they're going to have to limit, which I think is what their offense is kind of catered to do. They need to get pressure. This D-line, again, does not deserve to get paid until they can consistently put together pressure. Like, hindsight's 2020, but they should have made the Micah trade. They could have offered more than the Packers, could have offered a younger player than Kenny Clark and better picks than that. Like, they could have given up the Falcons pick this year and their first round pick this year and Kobe Turner. And I would have been totally okay with that to get Micah. Like, I don't know, but
That's fair.
I'm dreaming at this point. But
I do think it depends on what they do with the pick this year. Like, because they could still
needs
make
to be
that.
defense.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
now I would make the argument that, like, my only counter, because, like, Micah on the Rams would be obviously insane. But my only counter would be that pick is now more valuable than it was
yeah.
in the
But like,
offseason.
even if the pick, I mean, the Falcons, it can't get any higher than 7. I've looked at the schedules of the teams ahead of them or like in front of them in the draft order. It's not jumping. It's not jumping ahead of 7. So like, if you make the justification, you trade the 8th overall pick somewhere in the late 20s. Hopefully, pick 32 is the pick, and then
Yeah.
Kobe Turner, like a guy you would have had to pay after this year. I would have done that in a heartbeat. I would have even added in Byron Young. Like I don't really give a shit.
It's interesting because you could probably do that with not Micah, but, there's guys on the market still.
There's
But
one.
would you do it for Myles Garrett, theoretically? I don't know if he'll be available, but would you do it?
Depending on the cap hit, but the thing is too is like they should have went all in this season because I think that this is their best shot. I don't know what obviously the NFL is going to look like next year, but I'm assuming Seattle's only going to get better. I'm assuming the Bears are only going to get better. The Packers are only going to get better. The Niners are only going to get healthier. Like, you had a window of opportunity to do something this trade deadline before. I mean, obviously before the season, nobody knows what's going to go on. But like, if you have an idea of or an ability to get a player like that, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But
Yeah.
if they fail this offseason or if they fail this season and come up short of a Super Bowl, I do think that I think they're gonna readjust how the team looks, like drastically.
Interesting.
Specifically
Well, I
on
mean,
the defense. Specifically on the defense, because nobody on the offensive side besides Puka, I think, is up for an extension, and even then, I don't know what that's gonna look like. But
I just don't even know we don't even know what Stafford will do either. Like that, I feel like that's a big thing
he'll
because
play.
of the quarterback pay.
He's gonna play another year,
Okay.
unless they win the Super Bowl and it's like a perfect ending, right? I could, you
Yeah,
know, and I'd be happy with that. But like, if they come up short, I think he's going to want to play another year. Because Devontae, I think he said on a podcast recently that he's tied to when Stafford retires. So it's like when one hangs it up, the other's going to hang it up.
that's crazy.
So like I think that they're going to go at least one more year, if not maybe another. That's why when people are like, "Oh, they should draft a QB in the first round," like shut the fuck up. I'm so like
But you
but
had wanted that, right? Or no, not really.
after the Carolina game, yeah, but like realistically, no. Like they have like
Sure.
obviously Stafford's not going to play this well next year. That's just probably my guess, but like he's still going to be a top 7 quarterback next year, and you're not going to get somebody ahead of him who's going to be cheaper and already knows the system. So like it just doesn't make sense to me. But I just really think that they need to. They should have doubled down, but like let's say they lose to Seattle this offseason or Seattle in the postseason, because that's really the only team that I think that they'll really struggle against. Go get Miles Garrett. I don't give a fuck what it takes. Go get Miles Garrett. Ship off Byron Young. Don't pay the interior guys. You can literally get whomever else, and then just let it be Miles Garrett and Jared Verse. Like, go get a corner. They fuck it. Trade for Denzel Ward too, and clean out the Browns. Like, they need to make. They will need to make moves if they do not win. The one dude that I kind of wanted, and I didn't know if he was good or not, was that is the kid from Ohio State, the linebacker. Is he like a Micah Parsons linebacker, or is he like a
You talking about like Sonny Dykes, I think? Does
no,
that
no,
sound right?
no,
No.
Arvell Reese?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Is he like a
is he a
linebacker?
first round pick
Linebacker?
right now?
He's like a top 5.
I don't fall. I don't. I get locked in with like mocks once we're there. I mean, that makes sense. It makes
But
sense.
but I'm asking, do you know if he's like a linebacker, or if it's like a Micah Parsons kind of situation?
He's a Micah.
Okay, I wouldn't mind him.
They also have so many guys to the like. It all would depend on how they wanted to use him. I mean, you could play him as a true linebacker. You could play him as just an edge guy. But they have so many guys on that defense that they kind of just.
Yeah. Well, because I know Ruben Bain is like the consensus number 1 defensive player. He's
Yep.
Miami, right? So I just think that
Sounds right.
they need more juice on the D line, or they need better corners. But I'm just like rambling right now about NFL. So
We're good. I did want to hit on a couple things with
yeah,
NFC. I mean, also on the Rams note, I'll keep going, but I wonder if what the Eagles are going to do and I bring them up because I don't know if they'd love to trade with the Rams, but there's a potential. Maybe they trade a guy like Jalen Carter. Maybe.
no,
The only reason I say that is because I know they're winning right now. I get it, but I think it's going to get really ugly. We are seeing. I don't know if this is fixable, like in terms of just where their team is going. We're seeing the Sirianni downfall low key. Obviously, Jalen Hurts is bad. I don't know. It's just an interesting seed to plant, see what they do in the offseason. But, I mean, yeah, in terms of the NFC playoff picture, I kind of agreed with a lot. Yeah, that Bears-Lions battle is going to be interesting. I do wonder, is San Fran, I mean, they play I guess they play Titans, Colts. Sheesh. Yeah, I mean, San Fran's going to get in, which is crazy to me, but is what it is.
yeah, I want this Arvell Reese kid. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I
you're good.
I need that on my team.
Yeah. The NFC South is almost like the ACC in college football. Just like throw them away, low key. But yeah.
I going back to your Philly thing, I do think I don't think they trade Jalen Carter to a team like the Rams, just because that would like signify a white flag. I do think they will trade AJ Brown this offseason. I do think the Patriots thing is going to happen.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
And then that begs the question, is Devontae a number one wide receiver? I don't think so. I mean, obviously he hasn't had the ability to show it. I just don't think that he is built to be that. Obviously, I could be proven wrong. I think it's more likely that and I don't think they'll move on from either guy, but I think they move on from the other Jalen before they move on from Jalen Carter.
Sure. Well,
So,
I mean, I pretty much nod approval to everything. I mean, I think I just I don't know what they do. Like they have all this money tied into so many guys, and it's pretty catastrophic. Like Saquon's fallen off. You're going to trade AJ Brown and get some out of it. That'll be fine. But QB, you're in a tough spot. Like at some point, do you just try and clear the books best you can? And I don't know. They're in a weird. I mean, Howie Roseman's phenomenal, but this is a tough spot. I do think Devontae Smith can be a number one. I don't think I'm not gonna be like that's a guarantee because there are size limitations. But I just between some of the plays he makes on Sundays and what he was able to do in college, winning a Heisman is pretty like I don't know.
he has
I
track
just,
record.
he's got a track record to give him some benefit of the doubt with this awful QB play we're seeing right now. Like I maybe this is a dumb take. Davis Mills would have the Eagles at a better record.
Maybe. I just think that the problem is, like when you go back, I saw somebody like I'm probably the biggest Jalen Hurts hater that's ever walked the face of the earth. Like I think before the season started, we did an episode and I said that there was 20 quarterbacks better than him in the league.
Yeah.
I still stand by that. But like the thing is that their offense is so predictable, and the issue is like, I think last year like Saquon allowed them to do so much more with Kellen Moore, and like the year that they lost to the Chiefs like 2 or 3 years ago, they had Steichen and like the offense was much better. I think if they have to fire the Patullo guy, and I think they have to fire Sirianni. Like it's just not a serious.
I agree.
Right? Like I don't think that's serious. Like it's easily the worst head coach quarterback duo to win a Super Bowl in the history of the NFL. It's just mind-boggling to me. But if you fire both of those guys, and you bring in Mike McDaniels to be your offensive coordinator, or maybe he doesn't leave Miami since they've won, a few more games. But like, you got to bring in one of these like young OCs that can kind of relate to Jalen Hurts. My hot take. I don't think this is a hot take, but the right guard, his last name is Steen. I don't know who he is. He's fucking trash though. They're gonna re-sign Mackay. Is it named Mackay Becton?
Mackay Becton, yeah.
Mackay Becton. They're going to bring him back. They're going to have him play guard, and the offensive line is going to go back to what it was the year before. Because, like, the offensive line has just not performed well. Like, Lane Johnson's been banged up. And, like, that's another thing, too. The way he's been getting banged up, it's like, even in the games he plays, he leaves the game early. And now he's on the IR with the Liz Frank injury. So it's like, do you have to look to potentially replacing him? Like, I think they need to get the O-line situated because that's what carried them last year. And obviously Saquon's having a down year.
I just want to interject really quick because I totally agree with you that it's not all on Jalen Hurts. But if we look back just a little bit, that's where I get a little like fired up about my Jalen Hurts hate, because you see we can rip on the Bills a little bit. Josh Allen is still producing, and they're still a formidable offense, and they're still like, I mean, I guess this is all opinion. Like maybe the Eagles turn it around and they become a legit AFC or NFC contender, and then I got to put my hands up and say bad take. But they're regressing really. I mean, he just threw 4 interceptions Like the last one was it's a throw that Caleb Williams makes. It's like one of those zip throws. Like, yes, there was a window, but like you don't make that throw, and you don't. Jalen had the offense and the pieces, and then the great defense last year to go and win a Super Bowl, and then you take away the run game a little bit, and the offensive line gets a little banged up, and then the defense regresses a little bit, and then you see kind of they're sputtering. Like, they lost to the Bears. I know the score didn't seem like a blowout, but it was a blowout. The crowd in Philly was booing, like heavily booing. It was bad. They obviously just lost to the Chargers in a game where the Chargers had like 19 in regulation. I know that was a defensive game, but Herbert threw for 130, I think, and like 60 of that was on a screenplay.
Yeah.
So they didn't move the ball, and they lost that game with 4 Hurts interceptions. And then they lost to Dallas when they had a 21-0 lead at halftime.
Yeah. Trust me, I hate
it's a dopamine take, but it's a pretty fair sample. At this point,
I just don't think that I don't think that the coordinator's putting them in positions to win. Like, the offense looks elementary.
Yeah,
I still think that like Jalen Hurts is like Brock Purdy, right? Like he's put in a, not this year, but like last year or like the Steichen year. Like, he's get put into a really good offensive system. He can produce. He can make certain throws that a lot of quarterbacks would make, but like he makes them, well. He makes the right read. It's like one read, no, okay, I have this check down here. Or like the RPO shit with Shane Steichen, that's what made Jalen Hurts so good. They had the opportunity, like they had multiple different, I guess, avenues of where to go with the ball, whether you hand it off, whether you run, whether you throw the ball. Like, it's 3 different ways they could kind of chalk up the play. Specifically that Steichen year. If they fire Patullo in the offseason and they come back next year and they look the exact same, he's not an NFL level quarterback, but I think just with the way that they operate, like, they made the Super Bowl, lost to the Chiefs. The next year they had that terrible collapse. Then the next year they come back, they start off a little bit slow, they win the Super Bowl. This year they start off a little bit hot, like that year that they collapsed, and then now they are losing a few games. I have no reason to believe that if they change the OC next year, they're going to be back to being like their defense this year is better than it was last year, which is low key insane.
It's interesting. It doesn't. Maybe it. I would have to look at the stat. I mean, it doesn't feel. I mean, I know it's a good defense still. Don't get me wrong. I'm not naive, but it doesn't feel better. But I know they've also had some injuries there too.
Well, when you think about it, right? Like, they held the Chargers. Like, Jalen Hurts had 5 turnovers or whatever, right? Like,
yeah.
They like a good example is like Seattle versus Houston. I know you don't want to probably talk about that, but like,
yeah, sure.
Houston kept them in the game, even with the fact that like the Houston offense wasn't really there. Like, it was 20. I just looked. It was 27-19. Like, they kept it within a 1 possession game, and people will say like, oh, well, Seattle's defense is better because they held Houston to less points. Well, it's like, no. When your team is put in a shit situations in the short yardage, when it's a 3 and out, and the offense is not playing well, like, obviously there's no defense in the history of the NFL that can play like 40 plus minutes and not give up more than like, or give up less than 20 points. Like, that's just how it is. But like, the Chargers game, like 4 picks, like, they're getting put on the field unnecessarily. The game before against the Cowboys, like, they had them in the first half, and then Jalen Hurts couldn't produce, and like, yeah, they could have got some stops, but like, there was a punt fumble. I think Saquon fumbled it in short yardage. Like, they were put in a bad positions. And then even the Bears game, like, the offense couldn't do shit. I think they scored, like, the offense had 9 points up until the last Eagles drive, and then they scored that 1 touchdown with like 4 minutes left on the Black Friday game.
Yeah,
like,
I watched that game. It
I
was
will
cool.
say that the Eagles the run defense that game was dog shit because like the
Oh, shit,
Raiders had
yeah.
almost 300. So I'm not I'm not like gonna discount that one. But like even then, like the games before, I feel like they had pretty good defensive performances. It's like Hurts is wasting. Like just the team is being wasted away with how much talent they have, especially the defense and Vic
No,
Fangio. So
I agree. I think, and my Hurts take is harsh. He's a clutch quarterback. I will still say I mean, no one goes toe to toe with Mahomes, and he beat him. And he in the one that he lost, he played a heck of a game. Like I
yeah,
know it's there, but I also am gonna work with what's in front of me. That's always how I make my takes. And like some people are like, "Oh, look at week one." I'm like, I don't really do that. Like I look at where we're at now, and right now it's like a really
bad.
bad downhill trend that is like he is not a top 40 quarterback in my mind the way he's playing. Like it's just he can turn it around. He can turn it around for sure. Like I don't know who they have. Who do they have this week?
The
Oh
Raiders.
yeah, they have throw for 280 against the Raiders and no turnovers and show me that like you can just make open reads and take care of the ball. Like the Raiders are a sorry defense. If I'm telling you right now, if they look awful offensively against the Raiders, like if that's like a you know 13-6 game or something like that, man, that's gonna be bad. Even if they win, it's the
Yeah,
Raiders, man. Like
if they have to put up close to 30.
yeah, I
They
agree.
have to. Saquon
They
needs
have
to
to.
have a good game. Jalen Hurts needs to ball out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do want to try and at least hit on between college football and baseball. Hit on one of those. We went on NFL for a minute, which is great.
we can
So
do
let's
college
start with
football.
baseball.
Oh,
Let's start with baseball only because we can do college football like next week, right before the games. So
okay.
if we have time, we'll do both. But let's I'll let you take over on some baseball.
Yeah, just with the winter meetings going on right now, and the I guess the early signings that have happened. I watch I think it's called like the Just Baseball Show on YouTube. I think that's the only podcast that I watch just because they're pretty informed with what it is that they do and say. They said, and I kind of agree, it is kind of surprising that there's this much early movement with the free agent market in regards to guys who are bigger names like Pete and Schwarber. I thought that stuff was going to shake out a little bit closer to like the end of December or like maybe a little bit. I mean, what is today? The 11th? I
Yeah.
thought things were going to happen probably, let's just say that in a week to after. I thought that was when stuff was going to happen. But the Kyle Schwarber sign, okay, the two big signings confused the fuck out of me because of what I had seen and read and heard. It seems like Pete Alonso was going to be a Philly or a Red Sox, and then Schwarber was going to be a Met. That's kind of what it seems like, to me at least. But, I mean, Schwarber returned to the Phillies. They're going to run it back with that team. I don't know. I mean, they're stuck with Trey Turner. They're stuck with Bryce Harper. They have people that they're going to have to shed between Real Muto. They're trying to trade Castellanos. It seems like they're trying to shed peripheral money to keep this core around of the big three. It's just crazy to me that they saw that lineup get diced up against the Dodgers, and then they were like, "Yeah, like we can win with this team." And like that's their fault for sinking themselves in that hole by signing Trey Turner to such a long-term deal. I mean, he had a great year this year, but like I think he's probably got like 5 to 8 more years left on that deal. I don't remember how long it was for, but like that's not going to age well. Same thing with Harper. Harper wasn't very good. Like Schwarber was their best player this year. But then the Pete Alonso thing, I know you texted me about that too, and that was weird.
Yeah. That was crazy. That was kind
Yeah,
of a I mean, again, I'm not, I'm definitely 100% on all in being an MLB fan, but I'm not like in the weeds or anything like I am with football and basketball. It's just like I kind of am pure enjoyment. But when I
yeah,
saw that news, I was like, holy cow, dude. That's like, I don't know. It just doesn't. The fit seems weird.
I,
It feels weird to me.
it's just weird seeing the Orioles sign someone big like that, but I mean, I think they're a Gunnar Henderson bounce back year away, along with like Jackson Holiday having a better year. They got Taylor Ward in that trade. Their pitchers, I think, are going to be a little bit healthier with Bradish and Rogers, and God, they have another guy. I mean, they signed Ryan Helsley from the Mets. Like, they made a lot of moves. It was just so weird that the Orioles got him. I definitely thought that after Schwarber left, or Schwarber stayed with the Phillies, Pete was either going to stay with the Mets, which it didn't sound like the Mets made him a contract offer at all, which was insane to me, or the other obvious choice was Red Sox because they needed a first baseman and they could have used Tristan Cassis as a trade chip.
Yep.
But I mean, good for a smaller market team making a big move like that. Like, they're going for it, and they added two pretty good power bats to their lineup to put with Gunnar Henderson, Jackson Holiday. Who am I forgetting? I mean, they have like Westberg.
On the Orioles, let's see. I mean, you forgot most of the big ones in terms of like their batting lineup, right?
Yeah, Orioles. Let's see, roster. I mean, they have Basalo coming back next year, who might have a pretty good year. Rutschman could have a bounce back year. They still have Kobe Mayo. Dean Kremer. I mean, he's okay. I guess as a pitcher, not really. But like Kyle Bradish, Cade Povich might have a decent year. Colin Cowser is not a bad bat. I think they get the mountain back this year, the Felix Bautista guy. Heston Kjerstad. Like, they have a lot of young guys, and so maybe they package some of these guys that they don't think will play a ton into a solid starter, as they traded Grayson Rodriguez. Maybe they get another bat. I don't really know if they need one at this point, but good for the Orioles. I'm trying to think of if there was another big move. I think that was kind of it for like big contracts. I
I didn't
can't
see
recall.
anything else, I don't think,
Yeah,
on my radar.
but the one that I want to do is the Skubal. I do think Skubal. And it's crazy to me.
I'll
that
be happy for you, but like I mean, we'll just know. Which I've heard takes on this in all of sports. Like I don't think I think people hate on big moves like that in dynasties and like LeBron to Miami and KD to Golden State. Well, sure, but like you're tuned in because you're like they gotta win, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not all bad. Like would we kind of know the champion? Sure, but
But I mean, like, even then, like, coming into this past year, right, everyone was like, okay, like, even the odds reflected it. I think when I placed that bet for the World Series back in January, the Dodgers were at, like, plus 380, like, 410 maybe. Like,
yeah.
and then you go throughout the course of the season and you're kind of like, okay, you're seeing things play out. Like, people had the Cubs early in the season because they were playing well. PCA was playing well. They had Kyle Tucker. Who were the other teams that were? I mean, like, the Yankees were on a hot streak. The Red Sox were on a hot streak. The Astros looked good for a minute. But, like,
Yep.
the Mets looked really hot at certain points. I'm trying to think. The Padres never really looked amazing.
I think the team you're missing. Well, actually, the Tigers were up there for a little bit.
Oh,
in
the
terms of
Tigers were up
odds.
there. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think that maybe the Dodgers were the World Series favorite throughout the year, but then obviously, like, once they got into the postseason, I mean, okay, I'm not going to be obtuse. Like, I think that they were the World Series favorite throughout the entire thing up until Game 6 against the Blue Jays in the World Series. But, like, people said, like, oh, they got to go into Philadelphia. It's going to be a hard game, right? Like, it's going to be a
Sure.
hard series, right? And then they beat them in 4. It's not even like it went 5. And, like, they played Milwaukee. And it was like, oh, Milwaukee beat them, 6-0 in the regular season. Like, Milwaukee's not going to be a pushover. Like, maybe this is Milwaukee's year for, small market teams. And then they got waxed. And then they played the
Yeah.
Blue Jays. And it was like, okay, like, I mean, I think you and I talked about it. Like, I had said it's going to go either 6 or 7 games. Like, it's not going to be like some pushover World Series like the Yankees was, right? Like, the Blue Jays were hot and they had a good team.
Yeah.
I, like, I get that like the Dodgers are ruining the sport, but like, it's just so funny to me that 2 years ago, before they signed Ohtani, like they were coming off of a choke of a series against the Diamondbacks. I was at one of the games. I think I think Kershaw started it, and he gave up like 7 runs in the first inning, and they got swept that series. And it was like this whole joke of a thing, like, oh, the Dodgers are chokers, they haven't won a real ring, like all this shit. And then they signed Ohtani, they signed Yamamoto, they traded for Glasnow with who they had, and then they won last year. And then it was like, okay, like, whatever, that was a fluke year, like they didn't play anyone good. And then this year they, beat Philly, beat Milwaukee, the Reds, whatever. And then they beat, and then they came back on the Blue Jays. And it's like, my point being is that any given year in baseball, I think is there's more fluctuation in what can happen year to year. And like, it wasn't I don't think many people at the start of the postseason had the Dodgers winning it as they did the year prior. I mean, even the year prior, people didn't think that they were going to beat the Padres in the NLDS, and it went 5 games and they did. So like, even if they got Skubal, I personally think they're going to give up Glasnow and 4 of their top 8 top prospects. I think is probably what gets it done.
I would say too, more just to add on a little bit, and I think to what you're saying, like they choked, people, that was the narrative, right? I'm not saying Dodgers choked or whatever, it doesn't matter, but like,
I mean, it's true.
That was narrative, they choked and like all this stuff, they're never going to get a real ring. I mean, they made, and if they get Skubal, like they're making the right moves. It's not like they're, not to just throw my boys under the bus. We've since got a real ring, but it's not like they're just cheating and like whatever. It's like I mean, it's all fair game. Like, look at the Thunder right now. Like, they had to
smallest
suffer.
Markets.
Yeah, they suffered for a while. Like they, built up picks, built up assets, and look, like here they are. I know baseball's a little different because of spending and loophole, whatever.
Yeah.
But everything's fair game. Like if the maybe the Yankees are just cursed, but if the Astros woke up tomorrow and we're like, hey, we want to really go for it and start spending and start like, yeah, they could probably spend a little bit more than like they usually do, And like the Astros are bigger spenders, but not. It doesn't feel like it's the same level. They usually let guys walk like Fromber, Bregman, whatever, Tucker. So, like you can, to your point, like if you want to dance, you can dance. Like you can do it. Like, the Dodgers obviously have more money, whatever, but like you can do it. It's not like some impossible challenge. So the ruining baseball thing, it's like valid, but at the same time,
I mean, even if you look at just this offseason, right? Like the Mets let Pete Alonso walk for $150 million. They let Edwin Diaz. That's the other guy I forgot to mention. Edwin Diaz went to the Dodgers. Probably not a great time to bring that up, but like that's like $210 million they could have spent, the Mets, and they have like an owner in the top 40 richest people in the world. Like he has $25 billion to his name. Like, the millions to billions is not even like in the same stratosphere. He could have spent that money and gotten Kyle Tucker and blown like the whole top off the league. But like, they let Pete Alonso walk. They let Edwin Diaz walk. They got rid of Nimmo. They wanted to shed the money. Like,
yeah,
there's like all the opportunity in the world, and like I get that. To trade for Skubal and to get a long-term commitment, you need like a decent franchise. But like that's also what they've done. Like they've built a great franchise, and like they have great development. Like they have great coaches. They have a great like support staff. And then on top of that, like the farm system, like they've developed so many guys, and like they pick out talent really well. Like when they won the World Series last year, they traded Gavin Lux for this kid named Mike Sirota, and like everyone was like, oh, like, you know, nothing. No one really thought much of it. And then this year in I think it was like high A ball, like he balled out, and now he's one of their top 10 prospects who could potentially be moved for a guy like Skubal. Like if you were to ask ask the Tigers, like, who would you rather have, Gavin Lux or the Sirota kid? Like 10 times out of 10 they're going to say the Sirota kids. Like they identified talent. Like same thing they did it with Michael Bush when they traded him to the Cubs. They got Jackson Ferris and Zaire Hope, who are 2 top 10 prospects. Zaire Hope is like arguably 1 or 2 in their system. Like they flip guys for prospects and then use those prospects to get a Tyler Glasnow or a Mookie Betts, or, you know, they have the opportunity to sign Freddie Freeman because the Braves didn't want to re-sign him. Or like they did want to re-sign him. There was like a little bit of a controversy there, but in the end they wanted Matt Olson over Freddie Freeman. And the Dodgers pick him up, right? And like they've let Corey Seager walk, they let Trey Turner walk, they let Max Scherzer walk. Like it's just, it's silly.
I'm with you. I mean, I think it's just, yeah, people are very quick to like, you know, jump on something and like jump on. I mean, I was the one guy who, you know, I obviously was really hoping the Texans beat the Chiefs on Sunday, but
Yeah.
you know, I've always been a Chiefs guy because I like Patrick Mahomes, and everyone was so quick to hate him because they're good. Like, that's the reality. People, you know, hated the Patriots because they were good. People hated the Lakers because they were good. Like, people like the Celtics because they're good. You know, whatever. Go down the list, right? You can, like, that's half of the battle, right? And the Dodgers are, I mean, I would make a pretty good argument that like the Dodgers are the most well-run organization in all of professional sports right now. I don't think it's really that close. I think like you hit on like the scouting. I've heard multiple people talk about, you know, their scouting department also. Like they're really hitting on all cylinders there. Like they're spending money, they're being aggressive, they're, you know, acquiring talent. Like it's, you know, it's a machine and it's working. Like, you know, it's just, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just the last thing. Like I looked just now, like at teams with like top prospect rankings. Like I'm assuming that's probably what the Tigers want, or like even if they want like a couple guys that are like league ready, like the Mets have the opportunity to do so. Like even these like smaller market teams could make a push. Like a team like Seattle, like Skubal went to college in Seattle. Like, I mean, I don't think they need necessarily starting rotation help, but like Seattle could go make the move. Like they have a bunch of top prospects, or like some of these like other market, like small market teams. But like you have a team like the Reds who were gonna try and go for Schwarber, but now that Schwarber signed, they're not gonna spend any money, and then they want to shed their best pitcher Hunter Green because he's getting paid $8 million per year. Like that's too much for them to afford. Or like Cleveland, they're going to try and trade Stephen Kwan this offseason potentially because they don't want to pay him. They, you know, they think that they can recoup assets, and it's like they're wasting Jose Ramirez's career. Like,
Yeah.
I have the Angels calendar up. I'm an Angels fan too. Like they spend money, the Angels, and they whiff. Like they spent money on Hamilton, Pujols, Rendon, Hamels. Like they've spent money on guys and it hasn't worked out. But at least they're spending money. Like at least they're trying. Teams like Pittsburgh, Minnesota, trying to think who else would be a good example. Like Miami, they don't really spend money on big target free agents. And like people shit on the Angels all the time, but like I would rather have a team that whiffs than like a team like the Rockies who just perpetually is ass every single year. Like it's just the truth of it. I mean, it's painful to watch. You know, Mike Trout's never going to win anything of importance with the Angels, or probably ever. But like, they've at least tried a little bit. I mean, you know, have they done?
They had Ohtani.
They had right. They were the team that signed Ohtani over from Japan. They linked him up with Rendon. They gave young Trout, Albert Pujols. They tried building a rotation around him, didn't really work. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, it's true. It's I don't know. It's there's a lot of really well run organizations and there's a lot of really bad ones that it's like I might be able to run it better.
Yeah.
Rockies, sheesh.
Sheesh. Holy moly.
Let's see. We're at an hour 10. I'm trying to think if I do a really quick college football or if we just save it for the next one.
We could. I'm up for either. I mean, you're going to take the lead on it. I'm just going to throw out which team sounds better to me to win the matchup. So.
Yeah, I think I can do it quick. I got to eat dinner soon. We got Thursday night football coming on, but yeah, I mean, after I'll just throw my biased piece out there real quick. Thank you, College Football Committee, after screwing us over last year. Y'all got us right this year. The beautiful 5 seed. Welcome to Eugene James Madison. That's gonna be a delight. Don't want to look ahead. I mean, I've watched them play a couple times. They're not bad, but in terms of like roster versus roster, it's just a completely different sport. Like it would be one of the craziest upsets of all time in a postseason game if the Oregon lost that. Like it's very unlikely. I don't want to look ahead, but
in the college playoff, that would probably be, at least like of what I could think, that probably would be the craziest upset ever.
No question. Yeah.
No
question. But I think they just got. I mean, we were talking a little bit before we started the episode. Like they've got so many structure things to fix in college football. People don't like my NFL is better in college football take. Not all, but like you agree with me, but some people. It's just this stuff with the committee, it's all subjective. You have group of 5 teams. Like it should be Oregon, Notre Dame. And I would be more scared as an Oregon fan, but Notre Dame deserves to have a spot over a group of 5 team. I'm not going to do the whole Miami, Alabama thing. That's, I have my opinions there, but like, there's no debate that if we're comparing Notre Dame, JMU, no debate. Notre Dame should be in over JMU, but rules are rules. But I think Indiana got kind of screwed, at least in comparison to Ohio State, who they beat in the Big Ten championship in terms of path. At least for the first round game, either Bama or Oklahoma will be a tough match for Indiana. I think my favorite 2 teams are Indiana and Ohio State, which is kind of the consensus take. But I don't think Georgia has enough quarterback play to hang around. I don't think they can. Oregon, I've got my bias. I love my Ducks, but we have too many injuries on the outside at wide receiver. If we're healthy, we're as scary as any team in the playoff, but we got to get healthy at wide receiver, or I just don't know how we're going to score with a team like Ohio State with guys on the outside. Same with Indiana. So the defense can play, but offensively it'll be tough. Yeah, so Indiana plays Bama or Oklahoma. That'll be tough. Ohio State will have. Let me get this right. Oh yeah, probably A&M over Miami. I think it's fair to assume, and I don't think that one will be super close. I mean A&M's decent, but a lot of these SEC teams a little too banged up, and I don't think Marcel Reed quite has enough to beat an Ohio State team. I think he's a fine player, but it's just not quite that. He's not even on really tier 2. But Ohio State, Georgia potential will be very interesting. I mean, just 2 juggernaut. That could be one of those classic college football, like 9-6 all field goal games. Wouldn't shock me at all. Georgia's definitely been a team that has proved me wrong. I'm right on a lot of things, and I'm wrong on a good amount too. And Georgia is just, their defense has shown up the last month and a half more than they ever showed up to start the year in the first half of the year. Like they looked gassed. They looked, don't know, just they didn't really play well in any stretch, run defense, pass defense. But I think definitely the game of the first round is Miami A&M. That's going to be a dogfight. I think Bama, Oklahoma, it'll be ugly. I lean Oklahoma there probably, just with the way they beat Bama in Tuscaloosa, and now they host Bama. Like, just on that premise, I think they have a really good shot with their defense. But if I had to make a national championship swing, I would say, I know we feel different about Mendoza, but I like Mendoza's solid. I think Sand might be a little better in terms of upside. And so is Dante Moore on upside, but right now Mendoza's going to take the Heisman. I think he deserves it. It's probably going to be, would love for my Ducks to beat Indiana, but I think it'll be Indiana, Ohio State, and I think Ohio State will take it. That's where I plant my flag. I've got my Indiana.
You said Ohio State will take it?
Ohio State will take it, yeah.
I agree.
I think Indiana's great. I think they're great. But I think, and I told people, all of my college football people, I told them before the Big Ten championship, I said, I don't care if Indiana wins 49-0. I don't care if Ohio State wins 49-0. Like, they're not throwing the game, but neither team was going to open up the playbook. Like, and maybe Indiana would more. But like, Ohio State understands they won a national championship last year being an 8 seed. Like, not that you don't want the bye, but it's not necessarily the best thing for you. The most important thing is to like stay healthy, hide a good amount of your playbook, and just be ready for the playoff, because it's a gauntlet and a half to get through. So I don't think they unleashed everything that they could on Indiana, and it still was a dogfight. Indiana only still put up 13. Their best defensive end is now out for the year, which is wild. Ohio State just has too much raw talent. Like, I think I can't make a pick that's not Ohio State at this point. So, yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. I do think Oregon, Texas Tech will be very interesting. I think I'm very confident in Oregon winning that one, but at Texas Tech, very underrated talent in their front seven. Like, it's like a SEC Big Ten front seven. I just don't know if they can score enough to beat Oregon offensively, but you never know with that defense. It's a very, very good defense. So it'll be interesting. I think this playoff will be better than last year's. Last year was like the first time with 12 teams. Seeding was all jacked up. It'll be good. It'll be really good. I'm pumped for it. So, any thoughts there at all?
No. At least out of I don't think I'll be able to watch any of the first round matchups because of what time I work. But yeah, I think the higher seed wins throughout the playoff. Like, I don't think there's going to be many seeding upsets except for maybe Oregon beating Texas Tech, like we were talking about. But yeah, I don't really think that's an upset if it's 4-5 and the 5 wins. So,
I think the interesting thing is, because I agree with you. Like, I kind of went through and made a bracket, and I totally agree with you. But I know something's going to happen, and I can't find it. And maybe it won't. Maybe it just won't. But if I were to pick one, if I were to give you the hot take, it would be, and I just said I was wrong on Georgia, but it could be a maybe I'm late but never wrong situation, and they lose to Ole Miss. Here's the interesting thing. I know they just lost Lane Kiffin, but even with that said, take a guess on, because DraftKings has the hypothetical lines, for each possible scenario. Yeah. Guess what the Georgia Ole Miss one is?
Well, the spread?
Yeah.
Minus 1.5?
Not that crazy, but it's only minus. I'm trying to find it.
Minus 3.5?
Minus 6, which is compared to it's just I'm just telling you right now, it's not a lot in comparison to Ohio State's favored over A&M by 7.5. Ohio State over Miami's 8.5.
Oh, I see. Wait,
Indiana,
is Lane Kiffin coaching still for Ole
no,
Miss? Oh, he's just
but
like,
that's the crazy part. Like it's only 6 still. So I think they could give them a fight. I don't. The thing about Georgia and like again, they've proven me wrong, so I gotta own up to that. But I don't think even in the last month their offense has not looked amazing. They squeaked out against Georgia Tech. That was a dogfight. They only put up 19, I think. Gunner threw a couple. He threw at least one pick that was bad, maybe more. Um, I and we saw him lose pretty. Like I don't think the score was a blowout last year, but in that Notre Dame game, like they kind of got handled.
that was
Obviously,
terrible.
Notre Dame made it all the way, so like credit where it's due. But
As someone who had money on that
yeah,
game for Georgia, that was bad.
I did too. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty chalky. I kind of am with you, but something's going to happen. I don't think Ohio State loses early. I don't think Indiana does either. And I think most people think Oregon over Tech, so that's not an upset. I guess if Tech wins, then it would be an upset. Um, it would have to be Georgia, but we'll see. Um, yeah, that's if you don't got anything else on CFP, then I think we're good. Appreciate y'all making it all the way to the end. If you did, everything's down below. We did. I guess I just realized we did not get our spread picks out for
Oh shit.
Thursday night football, but we'll get them out for Sunday for sure.
Falcons cover.
Yeah. I don't know how we did last week, but I know the week before we both were like really, really bad. So we got to have a bounce back week.
I was mid. I was for sure mid this past week too. I think I did worse this week than last week.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty bad, dude. It's pretty fucking bad.
Well, we will be taking a look. But yeah, we're on the good one episode a week train, so we'll be back with that next week. We'll do some NFL, maybe some NBA, but I'll probably do first round specific game previews for the college football playoff as well. I think that'll be good. So yeah, appreciate y'all. And next week, see y'all then.
Peace.